Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
My name's Moshe Kasher.
And my name is Natasha Leggero.
We have a very important and special guest, a dignified man, a diplomat, in fact, an international diplomat. Natasha and I, we were recently in jolly old England for the Queen's Jubilee. Do you remember?
What a wonderful... Excuse me. I really love that queen. She is quite a woman.
Yeah, she's great. It was nice. We were really we went over there for the Jubilee because we really honor the idea that at some point in history, a group of white people were selected from just the populace.
Actually, from Nazis.
Well, don't they precede Nazis? They just got
they
into
were like
Nazism
from a
later.
German aristocracy, and now they just rule England and everywhere else.
We just think
the
it's
people.
cool.
But here's what is so funny, because we were there during the Jubilee with our guest, who we'll introduce in a minute. But on the 3 stations,
It's Prince Harry. I should have waited.
No, but the 4 stations they have in London, they kept playing the Jubilee, and all of the British citizens that they were interviewing just had such fervency for the Queen, and they're just so happy that she exists. And I do wonder what is it that they love so much? They certainly don't love paying for her country homes.
I think it is. She represents. You know how America has no center and no soul, and literally nothing but a great vacuum that defines it.
So she represents like the racist Nazi center.
Yeah, I think they love that she represents the racist Nazis.
Oh, I know what it is.
Well, let me think.
Okay.
What she represents, what the monarchy in England represents to the people that like. And by the way, I don't think most young people, I don't think, like the monarchy exists in England anyway.
Right. I was watching mainstream TV.
Right. But the people that do like it, what they like is that she is a physical totem. The monarchy is a physical totem to the like mythology that is England.
So like if there weren't the Queen, when you sit down to eat breakfast in London, there wouldn't be 9 knives.
That could be true. That's very possible that they would have eschewed some of the knives slowly.
Like she's like part of like the circumstance
and
that makes people feel very British.
And that's the plot to the movie Knives Out. I don't know if you know that. Anyway, we're in England to celebrate the Jubilee, obviously.
No, we were there doing work, Moshe.
We went to go do a television program called The Great American Joke Off, which I believe is a play on words for The Great American Jerk Off, which is what I did at night in the hotel while you slept. The Great American Jerk Off. But it was a arduous show. I mean, this was a lot of work. 3-hour tapings, 2 episodes a night, and it was shot in America, quote unquote, but it was in England. So they would like go fucking buck wild for any like Trenton on Stoke reference that you made or figgy pudding. They'd be like, we fucking love it. But they were supposed to be pretending they were an American audience. And half of the comedians were actually from America, including our amazingly funny friend and guest tonight.
Yeah, let's bring him
on. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, let's bring him on. I mean, I feel personally indebted to him because he did so much stand-up because we didn't really want to.
Right. That was part of it. It was like you would do this 3-hour taping, and then also they were like, could you also do 2 separate 5-minute sets in front of the audience that you just
did? But this guy's so funny. He did it.
He got up. He did it. But he's not just so funny. He did that. He also recently released a really, really funny special called Hat Trick, where he performed in each of the 3 rooms at our hometown club here in Los Angeles, the Comedy Store.
That's what the special is? That's so cool.
Well, let's just say his name. Let's bring him in, an old dear friend and an amazing comedian, a funny guy, and a guy that we saw Lion King in the West End with. I believe it was his first or second Broadway show ever. Fahim Anwar, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Such suspense.
Yeah.
They're like, who is this guy?
You were in suspense, wondering if it was you.
I was like, is it me?
We forgot to say that the only other Broadway show you've ever seen was Jersey Boys.
And you forgot to mention I loved it as well.
Right. You loved it. So Lion King, that was probably like, who wouldn't like that after loving Jersey Boys?
Sure. My only complaint was that it wasn't Jersey Boys.
It was not. It can't be denied.
There was less
Sherry
Frankie Valli songs.
Yeah.
Actually, I do believe it was Frankie Valli that first said, "Hey I don't know what the lyrics to The Circle of Life are, but that was...
It was fun tagging along with you guys, though.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant tagging along on me singing racist rendition of the...
Because we were just putting around London. I had nothing to do, and you guys were like, hey, we're going to go to Lion King. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Fahim kind of became like an instant uncle because we had our
This
kid.
is true, yeah.
We had our kid with us. We were like, we are going to this child's West End show. If you'd like to spend the entire day with our family, just chaperoning us, and you did.
Yeah, it's something to do. Otherwise, I was just going to walk around the city aimlessly until I had to do my homework before the show, you know?
You basically were doing that. That's what you said. You were just like listening to your iPod and like shadow boxing through the streets of London,
bit.
right?
Yeah, shadow boxing and dancing, just mixing it up.
Was that your first time in London?
No, it's probably my fourth.
What are your impressions? Like do you love the place? Do you love the Queen? Do you think you could get with the Queen?
Do you think you could get with her how?
No,
Like
get
sexually?
with her. No, like get with
The program, just get on board.
the vibe. Yeah, what's that
Sure.
vibe?
You know, I never really thought about what Moshe said, but I agree with it. Just that it's a totem to... It'd be like, Gandalf. Like, Gandalf is still alive.
Gandalf would be so much cooler. Oh, right, because they're endless Gandalf.
No, but the England is a very small country, and the citizens pay for like huge amounts of acreage that these people live on and redecorate their homes, and they're just funded. I don't understand why that wouldn't cause upset.
Maybe once the Queen goes, people will be less on board because she's such a brand.
Yeah.
Where like, I'll
She
support
is
this.
a good brand.
Honestly, her personal brand is fucking fire right now. She is so... Her TikTok... Do you follow her TikTok?
That'd be funny if they even make the Queen do TikTok. Like the PR people are like, look, you need to get on the talk. That's where all the kids are.
I could see her on TikTok. By the way,
But Moshe, sorry.
Yes?
Will you say the thing though?
What
like
thing?
you figured out. Remember what was the thing you said? You figured out why the Queen now comes. What happened that made her now come out and just shake hands with everybody all day long?
Oh, I think what you're referring to... Okay, this is what happened.
This is smart what he said.
It's really smart what I said.
Yeah.
Natasha, I
believe
kind
it.
of make sure she says she collects
Keep
the smart
tabs of
things
all
I
the-
say through the week, and then we kind of download them on the podcast. But no, we went to Versailles after we saw you. We went to Paris and went to Versailles. And Versailles is the palace of King Louis of France, the last king before they cut the heads off of the king and queen that was his son and daughter-in-law. And you get to Versailles, and it's so unbelievably over the top with opulence and money that you immediately walk in and you go, oh, I see exactly why they cut these people's heads off. Like I can see you're a poor peasant, and you sniff the kind of gilded bricks of Versailles. You're like, we need to murder these people. So that's the reason that the Queen and the monarchy currently is so like down with the people. They
put on their gloves and their hats and they go shake people with like a smile on their face
ever
for
since
2
Versailles,
hours.
everybody's just like, okay, you know what we need to do is be just like really all among the people, like because they just can feel the guillotine.
And there's always press out, and they always have those goddamn hats on, and they just put their gloves on and smile like
Because
a
they know they're in the-
mannequin, and everyone's like,
it's exactly like a person who is in a con, who's conning you, and knows that you're sort of slowly starting to figure them out.
Yeah.
You know, it's been happening for a couple hundred years where they're like, oh, the people kind of know that this is a grift. You know, but
and then remember they're like, oh, we'll just give you back Barbados. No, it's fine. You
Yeah.
can have it.
No, exactly. They know that the people know that it's a grift. The people know that it's a grift. Yeah, anybody.
No, they don't. They love it.
They love it, but they know
the Jubilee people. We were in a hotel in London, and it was full of people from England who were all coming to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee.
I'm not saying they don't love the Queen. All I'm saying is they went from like being in power, controlling everything, to and ergo taking all the tax money, to being nothing but a symbol, but still taking a lot of the tax money. So they're kind of going like, at any moment, this could run out. I think you might be right.
And Meghan Markle, like, any of that is just kind of like, it's about to happen.
Yeah, I think you might be right. When she dies, it might be like...
Yeah, because like, what players do you have after that? Then it's just all like Ant-Man. It's not like Thor's gone.
Ant-Man.
Captain America is gone.
Oh, you
That
think
is
people will not listen to Charles?
No, that is so true.
He would just get a tomato thrown at his head if he ever tried to give a real speech.
They're
as a
down.
king.
They're down to minor characters, but they're still charging the same for the ticket.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's exactly like the Whalers. You know, you go to see the Whalers now, and it's like Ziggy Marley, Damian Marley in the Whalers, Robert Marley in the Whalers, Tom Marley in the. You're like, no. I'm not paying Bob Marley prices for Ziggy Marley.
And why do they get 250 acres of land for each of their homes
The
in like a
Whalers?
small country? Like, it's very. I don't know. I feel like it's so outdated. I mean, of course, our system's terrible too.
I was thinking about the whole time when we were there for Jubilee, and it almost just shows you how innocuous the Queen is. It's just like she can't really rock the boat that much or implement too much change. She's a figurehead. And I was thinking, because she was ruling for what? It's celebrating 70 years of...
70 years.
Could you imagine if Trump was... if we had like America do like 70 years? Like how much the country changed in 4 years? Imagine 70 years like a Trump Jubilee.
But Trump was in power. I mean,
no, but the Queen, I don't think is as divided as Trump.
Well, she just shakes hands, and she
doesn't
can't
do
really
anything.
do
People,
much.
the populace seem to love her.
Well, that's because she doesn't do anything. She can't actually ruin everything. She just sort of
She
sits
flies
there.
That's why it's
places.
kind of nice. Like, you can't be too mad at Jubilee because she's not implementing that much change to the country. It's just
Right.
like Mickey Mouse.
She's just sucking on the teat of the United Kingdom. And it is so funny and so true that it's like, why are these people... Why are they living in this kind of They live in a palace because what? Because once their family was in charge of the country 300 years ago before the Magna Carta, and now they're just still kind of like taking a gold stagecoach in through the Buckingham Palace gates going like, I hope nobody figures this out.
Yeah, like stealing other countries and ruling over them.
That said, I gotta say, like the vapidness of American non-culture, like the fact that we are this melting pot. I mean, that's an interesting, powerful part of the American story, the melting pot. Yeah. But the problem with the melting pot is it all becomes soup. Like there's no kind of there. Like what are our traditions are like 4th of July where we like light firecrackers and eat hot dogs. Like the idea that there's crown jewels. We went and saw the crown jewels. They have crown jewels that are like, that are guarded
they
by
all own.
They're guarded by beef eaters.
Oh yeah, that's a great name.
Isn't it? It's just
Beef
the
eater.
best. Just the best. I mean, I just think there's something cool about the depth of culture there that we just don't have.
They say it takes 3 generations of natural superiority to create an aristocracy. So basically, these people, for at least 3 generations, were like, we are superior to you because of the color of our skin and because of our breeding and because of our thoughts and because of how we look and however they did it. And then they've taught their children that, and then their children taught their children that, and they just took over.
Here's what I think. I think that comedians are the modern day royalty. You know, a lot of people say comedians are the modern day philosophers, but I go a step further, and I say that we are in our DNA is the right to rule. Comedian Bill Burr, Carlin, Patrice O'Neill, Paula Poundstone. Those to me, those are the monarchs of our time.
Yeah. Poundstone is an interesting one. Following those two, nothing against Poundstone. Just like if you were an algorithm, you would need to like those who like these two also like Paula Poundstone. I'd be like, what's up with Netflix?
I do like Paula Poundstone.
So Fahim, what is your internal life like? What are you into right now? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid? What brings you more fear? Coastal change. Future strains of the coronavirus.
Yeah, let's get to you.
Hold on. AI takeover. AI becoming sentient. Now you also
Cancel culture.
but also let's not forget he's actually smarter than most comedians.
Oh right, he's a rocket scientist.
You went to school to be a rocket scientist.
Didn't you go to school for
that rockets?
Yeah. Speaking of firecrackers,
Aerospace
you
engineer.
used to build big
Yeah.
firecrackers that people ride,
That
right?
ride in, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
I'm just prefacing that like he's a smart man, so he's not like just concerned about cancel culture. So where are your thoughts?
I like this question. What are your demons? What keeps you up at night?
Man, we were in the hallway of the Comedy Store just talking about AI and how it's progressing and all that. And then, have you seen that image generator where you can it's making the rounds on Twitter where
Yeah.
you can this, I forget what the website is, but you can type in anything you want. And
Yeah.
it'll generate pretty convincing images of whatever you typed in.
You could type in like Natasha Leggero eating a sandwich, and it would be like a weird AI constructed cartoon of an image that kind of looked like you eating a sandwich.
It's
what happens when
impressive.
they're like Natasha in 5 years, Natasha Leggero sucking dick?
Well, then I'll send them some of the pictures from my iPhone.
What if someone just uses that website to write like celebrity feet? You know, just do an AI rendering of
happen.
feet.
But actually, that's a good question. If it's kind of convincing now, in 10 years it will be straight up. It will be convincing.
Yeah. So we were just, because normally AI, you think about it replacing jobs like trucking or whatever. But I'm concerned, like what happens, because with deep learning and all this stuff, will computers be able to write the perfect joke and do comedy? Because with art,
No way.
I don't know, we laugh at it right now, but if it can do these images and stuff, and there is this romantic nature of
The
like,
artist.
art.
Mhm.
Yeah. But if a robot and deep
As
learning
soon
can
as-
figure it out,
Wait,
then
what
that's
is
scary.
deep learning? You've said this like it's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. So it's sort of like a computer. I mean, this is like a dumb guy's version of trying to explain it, but you give it a data set and it learns exponentially. Like you give it enough data and the processing power is so fast that it can learn faster than any human, and it gets better and better at this thing.
So are you talking about the guy who the Google employee who said that his robot was sentient?
I don't know. Like that guy seems a little interesting. I don't know.
He said that talking to the robot was like talking to a very precocious 7-year-old with a physics degree. And that's how, but, you know, all the scientists are like, well, he's probably just a little confused. But then the really smart people are like, well, we're not going to know when AI is sentient.
Yeah, it just never occurred to me that like, oh, what if AI gets so good it does my job?
By the way, I love that's such a comedian
That's pretty
answer.
scary. That's scary.
It's such a comedian answer. I love it. It's a perfect.
That's what keeps him up at
the
night.
perfect comedian answer.
up at night,
is
but I never thought
what's
about it.
What's the most disturbing thing in the future is the possibility that stand up will be taken over by Google by a robot.
no, but that's so interesting.
Here's the good news. I got good news. All of these questions, the answer is yes. Like, could AI develop enough that it would take over the arts and begin to write the great American novel and the perfect joke and be better than a stand-up comedian at comedy? Yes. The good news is that it would take so long for that to happen. It's going to be such a long time. Climate change is going to destroy human civilization long before we have to worry about getting squeezed out.
So I'll see a giant tidal wave before I even have to worry about this.
No, it'll happen simultaneously.
Oh, okay.
This is actually a debate I've been having with some friends, and I believe that AI is going to happen before climate change.
We should hope that it does because
that's going to happen in like 5 years, AI.
we should hope that it does. The possibility, human beings are not going to stop climate change because, I mean, if COVID is any indication of what large-scale international cooperation will render, it ain't going to happen.
I know.
So we should hope that AI becomes sentient because at least then we have a shot. At least we might survive.
A shot at what?
At surviving climate change. If the Terminator robots take over, don't you think that they'll do something about climate change in order to keep their fuel or their food, the human being body food that they need?
Because
For
they
the
want to
Matrix?
survive too.
They want to. Well, they could survive without oxygen, right?
Yeah, probably.
They want us to survive so we can serve them.
So we could be batteries. It's just the Matrix.
Yeah, something like that.
It is not going to be positive.
Climate change isn't positive.
Climate change is going to happen in 50 years. Like the full catastrophe is probably like 30 to 50 years away.
No, a lot far further.
AI is like, he's already saying you can type in Natasha Leggero sucks a dick.
You think that's what AI is?
No, but it's like about to
The
snowball.
ultimate result of
No, it's
computers becoming sentient is that you can find any.
It's about to like start figuring out how to be its own right at the moment where like we're completely distracted. We were at so many restaurants in Europe and you just see moms with like 1-year-olds just putting a phone in front of their face. Like that's the future. Those are the people who we need to be worried about all of this. Like
Instead, they're worried about the Queen's TikTok.
I want to see that. Like, what dances is she doing?
Do you do dancing on TikTok?
oh, you're such a good dancer.
all Fahim's a
for
great
comedian.
dancer.
Come on, dancer to dancer here.
I mean, you're the
Moshe
best.
is not
on.
a dancer
No,
or
hey.
a DJ.
Hey, what do you? Why
Whoa,
you
where'd
what?
the DJ come from? We weren't even talking about
I
DJ.
know, she just likes to emasculate all of my hobbies.
Man, Can't he have dreams anymore?
Yeah, can't a brother
Dreams
dream?
would be great. Hobbies, 5 is a lot.
Here's the thing about Natasha. She doesn't have hobbies, and so she resents mine. Honestly, that's
no
what
good.
My
Come
hobby
on.
is hating.
that's what it comes down to. Right.
That's funny. Like, I have passions and she's a troll. Somehow we make it work. I have dreams and I build and she destroys.
Yeah, I have dreams. She shits on them. It's kind of beautiful. It's like Jack Spratt and his
you're
wife.
a great dancer, honey.
No, but Fahim's a really great dancer. Do you do
I'm all right.
TikTok stuff with the dancing?
I fuck around. I don't like dance to like build a following via dancing on Instagram. I'll just do, if there's a song I really like, I might dance and throw it up.
Apparently,
when I was in Atlanta, if I may interrupt you,
Yes,
and I
please.
was extremely bored, and I was like away from my family and my child, and I had nothing to do every night because I was in quarantine. I was definitely doing dance videos, but that's what it takes. That's what I understand. Like moms with full lives who have time to do dancing videos.
because they don't also have other careers. I think.
Yes,
Right,
the
I
stay-at-home
see.
mom on TikTok.
Yeah. They're focused on their dance on their TikTok brand. But you should do that. You're so good at dancing. Then they come to your stand-up
You think?
show. You're a purist. See, I realized this about you in England. Actually, you're a purist, and not in a good way.
Yeah, interesting. You might be right.
If you need to sell out. That's what I think. That's what I realized about
Ooh,
you in
do
England.
it,
How do I
honey.
teach me how to sell out?
I don't know, or I would be bigger, to be
Fuck.
honest. But like the idea that I think you're a pure comedian is what I really mean.
Okay.
The positive spin on that is I think you're.
You want him to talk about his background.
No, I want you. I don't want you to do anything. I just realize that we're kind of from the same era of
Yeah,
stand up
yeah,
where
for
it's
sure.
like
We are.
pure stand up and stand ups don't do corny shit. And then other people I feel like are better at being like not feeling self-conscious about the kinds of things you have to do in order to actually thrive today. Like doing dance videos with a dancer as good as you. Me too, by the way. I thought about this myself. I should be doing dance videos, like dancing dad video, as fucking cringe as that sounds,
Sure.
because that's what people like on TikTok. They like these
Bro,
dancers.
that's what's hard to reconcile as well. Because like we came from an older generation of there was a certain way to do stand up, and then things change as to how to get on, and TV is less important, and then it's about Vine, and then it's about Instagram, then
Right.
it's about TikTok, and then
It was never really about Vine, though.
I
It
know.
was,
Well,
though.
Vine was kind of the Grandmaster Flash of what we are doing
they were
now.
they were the Friendster of
Yes.
of the Facebook that is
They kicked off short form content.
Right.
They catapulted clip economy. Like we're in the clip economy right now.
Please
So
stop
true.
saying that.
But it's
You
true.
guys
Sorry.
are really creeping me out.
He's right though.
Look,
Can we just
I
take
did-
a call? Seriously, I can't.
He's
deal
got a
with
degree
clip
in
economy.
aerospace.
Yeah,
he
you
knows
thought
about
AI
the
was
clip.
scary. Let me tell you what's
The
going
clip
on with
economy.
the clip economy and the algorithms.
You mean the algos?
Are the algos?
He's got a PhD.
We call him algos
he's got
in
a
this house.
PhD in clip
economy.
economics. clip econ.
I used to I always think, back in the day, people would try to get on Johnny Carson and that was the thing. But now it's the algorithm is the Tonight Show.
Oh,
that's
totally.
the couch.
That's so true. If you can, being called over to the couch is going viral in the algorithm.
Yes, the algorithm is more important than late night now.
Oh, for sure, that's true.
What do you mean the algorithm is getting called on the couch?
You remember when
That's
somebody,
the new gatekeeper.
Remember somebody would do the Tonight Show, and if they were really good, they
Yeah.
get called over to the couch. That doesn't exist anymore for him. Saying you get called over, you don't get called over, nothing matters. If you find a way to get into the TikTok algorithm or the Instagram Reels algorithm, that's the equivalent of like blowing up overnight. Is if you
What do you get from that? It looks
people
like
to come to your
Exposure.
show.
Bunch
That's the
of
only
shit.
Everyone is in their phone. They don't watch the Tonight Show anymore. They're on TikTok.
Yep.
They're on Instagram. So if you are able to hack that, like you figured out some sort of short form content that people really fuck with, maybe it's flipping water bottles, maybe it's scaring people at a water fountain. It has to be so one note.
Yeah.
And you just like hammer it to death and hashtag it.
Sounds
and that's how
really
people
creative. You guys.
It's not creative. It's the opposite. You have to. It's the worst. That's
Well,
what's
I
funny.
think that you guys should like think about it more, and then we're gonna move on.
Sure.
I want to take a call.
Wow,
But
okay,
I do
Mom.
think we should think about it a little bit more, like how to make it funny. Even though you're
Of
like,
course.
it's so easy. All you got to do is flip a water bottle and make it terrible.
not
Well,
easy.
You guys are actually hilarious
No.
people. So make it funny. Let's take a call.
No, hilarious doesn't help. Hold on, before we take the call, hilarious actually doesn't help. Hilarious actually gets in the way. The secret is being a fucking talentless idiot who doesn't have standards.
Thank you.
And then you don't have anything saying this is corny. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, nothing will hold you back. You just sort of like we'll think too much.
Yeah. We're too funny, Natasha.
No,
to
it's
be,
not. It's not
to
that.
go
It's
viral.
just kind of stripping down all these ideas you have and just boiling it down to one
thing.
The essence of one funny thing.
It's just
doing that.
It's a different form.
It's a different thing.
Yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
Hat Trick is on YouTube right now. It's an amazing special. It's you doing the.
You are so funny at stand up. You were cracking me up.
Yes.
Every bit you did, that Uber bit, everything you were doing, it was so funny to me.
No, Fahim's a great comedian and like I said, a true comedian. So check out Hat Trick on YouTube.
Honey, am I a true comedian?
Yeah, but you also are as much an actor as you are a comedian. You've got your own thing going on.
You've got a lot of threats.
Yeah, she's like I think a quintuple threat.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm scared. That's how
she's a comedian, actor,
natural
host,
superiority of aristocracy.
aristocrat, and has lupus. So she's got all that going for her. Yeah. This is a big
honey,
reveal.
these calls are on the East Coast. They're waiting for us.
Fair enough. Let's do a call. Fahim, we're going to take some advice calls. Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe.
You are what I would consider to be an aesthetic creature.
That was a nice way of putting it.
Well, you just care so much about the way things look.
Total type A bitch.
No.
When it comes to the house.
God forbid. But if you also really care about the way things look, but also about cooking in a way that makes your life easier, we have a pan set
these
to
are
recommend
so
to you.
beautiful.
They're beautiful. They're called Caraway. They're good looking and they are clean to cook on. They're so high quality looking, but not only that, they're non-toxic cookware and bakeware collections, and you can make a healthier cooking situation easy to do.
The color matches our kitchen exactly, and I'm not going to lie, I put them on the counter, and then I took away the La Creuset.
Whoa. Shots fired.
Because it just looked better.
It's elegant and beautiful. They've got a cookware set which contains a modern and chemical-free iteration of the traditional 16-piece set, boiled down to 4 essentials: a fry pan, a saute pan, a saucepan, and a Dutch oven. It's all you need.
Let your husband figure out what the Dutch oven's for.
Well, yeah, I am the cook in the family, and I'm super happy to be using these because they're non-toxic, non-stick. They're made with no toxic materials like PFAs, PTFEs, PFAOs, or any of those other hard-to-pronounce chemicals. And they've got this ceramic, naturally slick surface, which means you don't have to use very much oil or butter to cook with, and it just slides off the pan. Everything you make, eggs, easy to clean. Everything is easy. It's awesome.
It looks so cute. I love them. And I think that I like when everything around me looks good.
Yeah, if you've been thinking about getting some new pans, these are the ones we recommend. They're called Caraway. Their discount code is Honeymoon. You can get 10% off. We can't recommend them enough. Check them out.
Visit carawayhome.com/honeymoon to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/honeymoon or use code honeymoon at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. Okay, we're going to call John in Wisconsin. Oh my God, a man. We almost always have women.
Hello, John.
Hey, John. Ooh, beautiful lighthouse.
Thank you.
Is that because you live in Wisconsin? You guys are kind of landlocked, so you got to think about the coast.
Yeah, we gotta make sure that the ships can see where the shore is so they don't run into it.
Are you in a fake building? What is that?
This is so bizarre. Is that your house?
No, this is a wall mural.
Yes. Are you really into lighthouses, or what's the story here?
No, just like in northern Wisconsin, we have Lake Superior, and we have lots of lighthouses.
Do you really in northern Wisconsin? I'm from Rockford, Illinois.
Yeah.
And there was nary a lighthouse to ever be seen.
You ever been to Superior?
Lake Superior?
Yeah, Superior, Wisconsin's right next to Duluth.
Duluth? That's far away. That's northern Wisconsin.
Okay, break out the map, John.
Northern Wisconsin.
This is killing me. We have to figure out the geography of where he is.
Okay.
All right, John, we're joined by comedian and friend of the pod, Fahim Anwar.
Hello.
There he is. I'm Moshe, of course. There's Natasha. How can we help you?
All right, Motasha, here's my problem.
Yeah. Wait, why don't you include Fahim? How about
And Fahim?
Yeah.
Fahim.
Fotasha.
Natasha?
Fotasha. Yeah, Fotasha. All right. So I was listening to other podcasts, and people were asking about issues that they wish their partner would do of their most wild sexual desire. And my question is, I got this great girlfriend who does everything I want practically.
She mans a lighthouse for you once in a while.
Are you talking about everything you want sexually
yeah.
or in across the board, whatever?
No, like she's a very practical girlfriend for my life.
Oh, okay.
It'll make sense.
Gotcha.
But she doesn't do my most wanted sexual desire.
What is it?
Which is she doesn't let me come in her mouth when she's giving me head. So
okay.
That's my problem. I don't know how to get her to do it.
It's a great.
That's your most. That's what you want most, or do you want it most because she's not into it? Has this always been your thing?
That's a good question, Natasha.
That's a good question. No, that's what I want most.
That's what you want most. You want to blast in her mouth.
Bingo.
What do you like about that?
Probably the submission. I don't know. Feels good. Submission, whole thing.
What about? Okay, I got some. Fahim, you got any first thoughts here, or I got a million questions.
Seems like hard to get her on board. I don't know how you're gonna flip this one. You know,
this is a hard one. Is she also from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
What if you involved cheese, like right as you were about to bust?
Moshe.
You got like put a wedge of cheese, like you bust on the wedge of cheese, and then you give it to her, and then she won't be able to resist because she's from Wisconsin. She'll be like, "I love cheese."
No, hold on. We have to ask the first question. Have you told her that you like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
And have you said it's like my biggest, like tabooist desire? It's the thing I want the most.
Yeah, we've been together for a while now, and I've been like really patient about it because she's like, "Oh, I will."
Okay.
She never has.
And do you want her to be laying down and you want to like be on top of her?
Great question again, Natasha. You really get to the meat of the thing.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in her position.
I'm honestly okay with whatever. Just want to do it. That's all.
As long as it's in her mouth.
Because maybe you could make it a little less aggressive seeming. Like it doesn't have to be you fucking her face. Maybe the first time. Maybe you could be like, "Hey, can you just like swallow my cum?" Is that what you want her to do? You want her to swallow it? Can you be laying down and her sucking your dick?
This is the dirtiest this podcast has ever been.
Well, I'm just trying to help him.
Natasha, I just love how you're rolling with it. You don't have, you don't have to say, "Do you want to swallow my cum?"
Well, because they're not talking about.
You just deep gag her and then blast in her gut. I mean, it's just simple. This is Natasha's advice.
No, but here's the thing. He's not talking about like fucking her in the ass or something. Like
I know,
coming in someone's mouth, that doesn't seem like
it's not super high level.
That big of a thing. I think it's cool that you're into that, and
it's a very Wisconsin deepest, darkest sexual taboo. I will say that. It's like, it's crazy. You guys won't even be able to believe it. It's so fucked up and twisted. But I have a question. Is she down with you doing that like other fun places, like on her chest or on her back or on her face or on her face even?
Yeah.
But he wants her to swallow it.
But you happen to have, because I would say most people feel degraded, because that's what it seems like it is. It's one of two things, actually. This is what I think. Either she feels degraded by it, but actually now that you say she lets you blast on her face, I'm thinking it's not that. I think she's physically repulsed by it. I think she thinks it's gross.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it is. And she can't really help that. That's not really about her not being like, as Dan Savage calls it, good giving and game. That's about her being like, I'm going to gag.
Ooh,
so that's
know.
2 G's.
I'm sorry I have so much advice on this one.
Yeah.
What if you told her that you're going to start drinking pineapple juice every day and
like
it makes
that.
your cum taste really good?
Did it.
He's like, that's the first thing I did.
I have not had anything but pineapples
Did you
for the
tell
last
her?
year and a half.
Did you tell her?
Yeah, I already don't drink. I work out a lot.
That's funny. You made your cum all sweet for her, but for no reason.
What if you do it yourself to show her it's not so bad?
I love that. Have you tried that? You thought about doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done it?
No. Oh, wait. What do you say?
You're like, look at me do it first.
Fahim's saying, why don't you get a University of Madison, Wisconsin shot glass, blast into it, and then look her in the eyes and take your own cum down and say, it's really good. I like it.
You go, see, not so bad.
Pineapple-y.
Yum. Like you're trying to get a child to take medicine. Now you try. Like it's Dimetap.
She said that she would do it if I took a shot of my own cum.
She did?
Wait.
No.
but I haven't done it.
Well, then there's your answer.
Wait,
Why
is
don't
she
you do
acting
it?
like it tastes gross?
Yeah, she is.
I mean, to her credit, to her, it does. I mean, it's not even that it tastes gross. I bet it's more like she's repulsed by the idea, of it's physically difficult for her to think about
To
that.
drink runny, rancid cum.
He's been drinking pineapple juice. Rancid cum.
I'm curious. Is there anything she likes that you won't do?
Great question.
Maybe that is off limits for you,
No.
or you're game for everything.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. So she pegs you, and you blast, and she won't jump underneath and grab it off of the sheet.
Well, she's also saying I will do it. That's another
Right.
thing, But you don't want to be in this position where you're always like, hey, you don't want to ask too much.
Yeah.
I mean, the
I don't
reality
wanna
is
be led on either.
the reality is unless you have a Fahim, you're going to say something.
I have a hypothesis. I think if you lay off the gas on it, you've
Yeah.
already expressed how much you love this. If you lay off the gas a bit, she may surprise you. I think it's the constant, hey,
Bites.
hey.
Yeah. But she'll surprise you by drinking someone else's cum. And she'll be like, actually, the problem wasn't the cum itself.
I was wrong. I love this flavor.
I think
That's fair.
Fahim's totally right. I think the whole I get what I get
this
where you're
has been over the course of several months.
No,
and I've stopped asking
I
just to
get
see what would happen. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to call into the show.
I get where you're coming from. I mean, okay, sorry. I get what you're saying, but I think that like even the language that you posed at the beginning, how do I get her to do this? Like it's the problem I'm seeing is like here's the thing, unless you're like have a deep like fetish, like a deep fetish like Russell Peters who cannot have an orgasm unless he's looking at a foot. Unless you have a deep fetish, why would you want this person to do this thing that you know they won't enjoy? They're not, your partner will not like it. They're not going to have a fun time. It won't be fun for them. So like, why, what's hot about it? Is that what's hot about it? Or it's always been something you're into?
It's always been something I'm into.
Yeah.
Second of all, I don't think it's that high level of like a
You're right.
fetish thing. Like you laughed at me earlier and you're like, oh, it's not even that bad.
Right.
It's not even that bad.
No, I think
So
you're
why
right.
not? And
No,
yeah,
I agree with you.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah, let me just say though, I agree with you, and I'm not judging you. I don't think that you're asking for something degrading. I think that you found someone who's perfect in every way for you, but they won't do this one thing, and that's part of being in a relationship. Is not everything's gonna be perfect.
I have a question. Has a past girlfriend done this for you in a way that you liked?
every partner I've been with before this.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if I knew that there was something I really liked, there are things that I really like that not every partner I've been with is into doing.
Moshe wants to have 3-ways.
Well, but there's certain acts that I'm into that I know that not every partner will like, and they were perfect in every other way, like awesome in every other way. Like I said, I think I would just say, you know what, I'm going to take the L. Like I'm going to take the L on this one, and I'm not going to pressure a person that I love into figuring out how to do something they're not comfortable doing. Because what pleasure will I get out of them not enjoying something?
But that's his main sex life.
It's his one
thing that he wants.
That's the what you
so
can't.
maybe he needs to find somebody else.
It's still kind of funny though. Like at the end of the day, you're still coming. You know what I mean? It's like pure ecstasy, but you're like, I like ecstasy this other way. Yeah.
He's like, I like ecstasy while my girlfriend feels slightly degraded.
I mean, it's interesting to me it's interesting because like if it's submission you're after, she's letting you blast on her face. Like there's nothing that is more
maybe you
porno
actually
submission than that. That's the ultimate.
Maybe you need to stop wanting this.
Well,
Maybe.
think about the alternative. Imagine you're with somebody else who does do that thing, but then you lose all these other great qualities that she
Yes.
has. Is that a better situation or not? Because nutting is a split second.
It's so funny because he called in and he's like, I didn't call in to figure out how to become a better man. I called in to figure out how to convince her to do this one thing that I want.
You're not giving me anything that helps.
I do have a suggestion for you on that. Okay, And I wish we had like a real sex expert on here for actual tips on how to make it more palatable. I mean, I do think that if you were to sort of involve, I've always found involving food and sex to be it's really not my thing. I find it kind of disgusting. But if you did find a way, and you're from Wisconsin, so it'll have to be fondue. But if you were to involve some sort of other things to mask the flavor, I think that might actually help her. Like, I don't know, a honey or something, or wine or something like that to like kind of
like flavored mints.
Yeah, some flavored mints. I think that would actually help. But here's my other suggestion. And my main suggestion is I wouldn't pressure someone into doing something they don't want to do. But I would say, when's your birthday?
In March.
I would say, honey, my birthday is March, blah, blah, blah. And as you know, this is my biggest sexual fantasy. I know it's not your favorite thing, and I'm going to not mention it again. But on my birthday, it would be really nice if we could do that. And then see what happens.
I think not even setting that date or whatever. I think she knows how much you like it already. And if not, maybe you could plant the seed one more time and then lay off.
He's trying to plant the seed. She
Oh
won't
my
let
God,
him.
I just thought of it.
What?
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
No,
off.
not at all. Yours probably better than mine. But I'm just saying, if you laid off the gas and she already knows you like this and you're the sweetest boyfriend and everything is great, I think she's gonna want to do it to surprise you and be.
No, she's not. She doesn't want to do it to begin with.
Okay, what's your thing?
My thing is that you start getting really into eating her cum and drinking her cum and be like,
Already there.
You be like, sit on my face. I want you to like come on my face, and then
What if
Already do it.
What if she was like, I
All right,
really
never
want to
mind.
shit on your face? Would you let her do that? And she's like, it's just my thing. I want to shit on your face.
I just think that if she was really about it, I'll try anything once.
No. You don't want her to do this once, do you? You want her to do it as a regular part of your sex life, right? And she
True.
says to you, this is what I want. I cover your face in saran wrap. I put a straw through it, the mouth part, so you can breathe. And then I just bust a fat dump all over your face every single time we have sex. Would you would be like, I'm not going to do that, right?
Well, it's not every time we have sex, though. It's once in a while.
You just want once, and it's never happened for you.
It happened one time before we started dating because she said she would. She did it. I asked her to be my girlfriend. Never did it again.
this is becoming sad.
Yeah, why buy the cow when you can get the nut for free, as they say.
Oh, that was kind of rude of her. She did it before you guys started dating?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think Fahim is, not to make funny, although this is very funny, Fahim is correct. The thing that you have to do, and I hate to say this, I say this with relationship advice a lot, a relationship is like an equation, right? And you just have to figure out how big the value of nutting in somebody's mouth is compared to the value of all of the other things. You have to just put it on in the chunk, mash it into the equation and do the math. Am I willing? This woman, even if she does it on your birthday, she is never going to be the person that gives you this as much as you want. It will never happen.
Yeah.
She's not going to eventually get into this. She will maybe begrudgingly submit to it once a year. So that's the reality of this person, right? At the most.
And here's another important aspect of it is that he cares about this so much that he told her on the first date and she did it. So this isn't just something that has evolved. This is like truly his thing. So
right.
I don't know. Maybe he should look for another girl. I mean,
To be fair, you did meet her on cumeatersonly.com, right?
Yeah, why was she on there in the first
I
place?
know.
She falsified
She's
that.
trying to trap a man.
Come on.
It's a honeypot. But I think that's what you do. But it's what Fahim said. You put come swallowing on one side of the number line or whatever. I wasn't very good at math. And on the other side of the number line is all the other things, your sexual compatibility in other ways, how she makes you feel, how much you love her, how much she supports you,
maybe
blah,
she
blah,
can
blah.
cook. Maybe she's really kind.
You crunch the numbers and you decide what's more important to you. And if having that particular fetish satisfied is more important than those other things, then you leave her and you find somebody that's into what you're into.
If you wanted to be like me if you wanted to fuck me in the ass all the time, I don't think I'd be able to do that.
I don't, honey. I don't. I
You
do
would
not.
probably like it though.
Listen, if you were into it, I wouldn't be against it.
But I'm not into it.
But this
so
isn't
that
what-
makes you kind of not as into it anymore because you love me and you're like, well, you're not into it.
But that's not true because if you're not describing an act, one of the many sex acts that is fun, you're describing one particular thing that gets you off harder than anything else. I don't have a thing like that, right? I don't have one thing where I'm like, if there's one, do you, Fahim?
No.
No, like if there's one thing that I love, it's this. I just don't have that. So
I just feel like it's such a low ask.
yeah, but not for her, right? I mean, it just isn't for her. It's not a low ask for her. Honestly, the cum on the face is a much higher ask, and she's down with that.
No, it just depends on
agree.
the person.
I'm just saying, if you were to kind of
I think I would rather get jizzed on my face and hair than have to swallow it.
okay,
If I had to, if
well, see,
someone,
John,
if John made me.
if John's forced to do. I know what you should do. I've realized it. So you were dating but not together, and she did it, right?
Yeah.
Then you transitioned into boyfriend girlfriend. She stopped,
Correct.
right? You just need to transition again. Marry her. Marry her, and she will be. If the moment she becomes your wife, she will be the cum-eating goddess that you've wanted. This
Yeah, that's
whole
what
time.
happens, right?
It's classic.
Once you get married, you get freakier. I keep on hearing about married guys talking about all the crazy sex they keep having.
Dude, the credit of the married guys, nobody wants to hear, even if it was getting crazy, no one wants to hear that from a married
That's a
guy.
good
It's just like,
point.
I had the
Yeah.
fucking kinkiest cum swallowing sex with my wife the other night. You're like, oh, dude, no, stop.
Well, good luck, John. I know this is hard, and I don't think anything's going to be changing. You might have to be the one that changes.
I think that is the secret. Either you change and accept that this person isn't into this, or you move on and you say, you know what, my kink is important enough to me that I can't be in a relationship with somebody that won't do it. I mean, I don't see the path to convincing her to be into it. That will never happen. You can only convince her to be disgusted by a sex act once a year. That's probably what's in front of you.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
He's disappointed in us. But what can we do? What do you think? Oh, let me ask you, what do you think? What would you tell me if I called you with the same question?
I've thought a lot about this. I don't know, dude. I just think it's such a low ask that I don't know why she can't do it.
Yeah, okay, but I'm saying that to you now. I'm talking about Natasha. Natasha, I love her so much. She's the mother of my child. We do a podcast together. She's the most loving woman in the world, beautiful, stylish.
We're a
but
brand together.
We're a brand. We're a brand almost as influential as the Queen of England herself, and yet she will not constantly and nightly swallow my cum. I don't know how to get her there. John, what do you think?
I don't know, dude. That's why I called you to
You
ask.
do know.
Hey,
You would say, dude, she's not into it. She's never going to be into it. It's just not going to happen. That's not something that she's into. So you got to either move on or move on. Fahim, any thoughts?
Yeah, you've laid it all out. It's I think the best shot you have is maybe inform her one more time that you're into it. Try one more time, and then if she doesn't, lay off the gas, see what happens, and just think about it while it's not happening, and
Yep.
go, is this important enough to blow up or not?
Yep. I think anytime you're trying to convince a sexual partner to do something they're not comfortable with, you're in a zone that isn't good. And so if you can't stop asking, I think if you can't stop asking, it is time to move on. And it's okay to want something sexual so much that you're like, I can't make this work without it. That's okay. That's your thing. That's reality.
And you need to get rid of this idea that it's a low ask, because it's like you don't
Right.
really know what. I mean, you don't know what her past is. You don't know what she's into. It's like it's a low ask, but maybe for you, but you can't really judge another person. And
That's so
I think you have to be a little more respectful of her, and get that out of. Don't think that. Don't be like, I'm gonna think that, but I won't tell her that. Like, just try to like amend that in your head a little bit, and who knows, maybe she will be more open to it.
Natasha's right. It's not a low ask for her. In fact, it's more respectful to leave a person because you're not getting what you want than it is to pressure a person into giving you what you want. It's actually the bigger, the more integrity-filled choice.
I think he needs to read a book on feminism or something, because like
Do they have those in Wisconsin?
The desire
Already-
to want to like come in her mouth all the time.
He's like, I already did. Everything we tell him.
I read Betty Friedan and I'm not going to read anymore.
To your credit, John, you really have tried it all. Everything we suggest.
I did it. I did it already.
Did that.
Did that.
Pineapples. I went to Hawaii. I lived there for a decade. Good luck, John. Good luck. I think honestly, the way forward for you is to change your paradigm, not to change her desires.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Okay,
fair.
good
I
luck,
think.
honey.
Yeah, good
Because
luck.
you really do like her.
Honestly, sex is a lot like a lighthouse on a lake.
This is true.
You know, and you just look for the light. You follow the light. Don't go into the darkness, my friend.
All right, good luck, John.
All right. Bye.
Well,
Feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the girl. I feel bad for everybody
But see,
involved. really.
Moshe, when we got married, you like totally would have loved if I was into like five more things that I wasn't.
Yeah, sure, but exactly
It wasn't worth it for you.
exactly what Fahim said. There were things about us sexually that were different, and also emotionally, and also socially, and also in every way. I mean, that's just what a relationship is. You don't get all of the things you want. You find the person that has the most of the things that you want, and you go, is this combination fulfilling enough for me to stay? And the answer was yes, but I never had a thing. The one interesting thing to me about this guy is he's so fucking into this one thing.
And he's willing to blow up his life over nutting in a mouth,
Yes.
which literally lasts like 0.001 seconds.
100%.
Like watching TV, going on a trip with someone, having dinner.
It's so funny.
Like to blow all that up for 0.001 second.
Actually,
But
half
that's
of it.
important to people. That's their sexual predilections.
No,
you
but
know?
what's fun? What he's saying is his whole thing is around the very last millisecond of the sex part. Like if his thing was, I need like a lot of ball play during sex. That's something that happens the whole time. She won't touch my balls. That's the only way I can get off. That's something happening the entire time. This guy's
No,
like,
he might want to fuck her mouth and not just come in her mouth.
no. His thing
He
is
wants
that
to fuck her.
he wants it to end in her mouth. And you're so right. Like even half of it, you're not into it anymore. Even like the first half, you're like, I'm so into this. And you're like, I'm not into anything anymore.
Yeah, I know people are different. This is important for some people, but to me, it just seems like you're talking about slam dunking, and like a slam dunk's a slam dunk, but some guys like it needs to be reverse jam. Like it needs
it's
to
not
be
a dunk.
Like it's 2 points. Sex is 2 points either way, but it's like it needs to be reverse. This is how important it is to me.
It's just immaturity, right?
Who knows what it is?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
so-
understand it. Like
I don't understand it either. It's so specific that it feels like a fetish, but
But if it is a fetish, what's going to happen is he might marry this girl and have a kid with her, and then he'll like go do a job or go have a secret life where he can like come in other women's mouths. If it's that important to him.
he may resent her if it's that important to him.
I think that's why we gave him the advice we did. He needs to just figure out how important this is to him. And honestly, I mean, not to be too judgmental, but if he does do the equation and in the end he's like, there's nothing more important than me than a girl swallowing, there's something wrong.
I just want to see that scene. You know what I mean? Just
Like a
that
beautiful
breakup.
mind?
Yeah, just like, I thought about it, and there's nothing more important to me than busting in a girl's mouth. And you're great in so many other ways. You check so many boxes, but I need this, and it's been great.
It's not you, it's that you won't swallow. All right, should we do one more call?
Yeah. Do we have
Kind
time?
of get the taste out of our mouths, so to speak.
It's 10:30.
Yeah, let's do another call.
Okay, we'll do one more call.
Hey, Tosh.
Yeah, Moshe?
Have you ever felt like you needed some help dealing with a really
Yes.
like kind of overbearing, micromanaging partner that's kind of maybe
Yes.
even verbally abusive? Well, if you've got a problem like that or any other problem, there has never been an easier time to find a professional to talk to. Find somebody. Everybody needs therapy and some need it more than some. So check out Talkspace.
No matter where you are in your mental health journey, talking to a therapist who's trained to help makes a huge difference. Like I had a friend who would always be like, hey, why don't you just talk to your friends? That's what we do in Germany. Just talk to your friends. But also like, it's nice to pay someone and it's nice to have their professional perspective.
Didn't they invent psychotherapy in Germany?
I'm just saying.
Well, anyway, we're not living the German life anymore. Go to Talkspace, Talkspace.com. Find yourself somebody to talk to. They do 24/7 contact with your therapist. You can text them.
You'll match with a licensed therapist.
Yeah, you can video chat them. You can turn your camera off so you don't even have to face them as you discuss your issues. Everybody could use somebody to talk to and make it a professional.
If thoughts and emotions are piling up, a fresh perspective can help you feel better. Match with your dedicated therapist today at Talkspace.com and use promo code HONEYMOON during sign up to get $100 off your first month. That's $100 off at Talkspace.com, promo code HONEYMOON. Try it out. Okay, we're going to call Joel in Portland.
What is the same thing? He's like, she won't swallow. It's an epidemic.
I think it was COVID. It was being in quarantine for a year. I really realized what I want. I'm a different person. What I want is for somebody to swallow. Hi, Joel. How are you?
Hey, Joel.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
It's
good.
Natasha and Moshe and our friend Fahim Anwar.
Hello.
Hello. I'm so excited. Big fan of all of you guys.
Oh, thank you. We're glad to have you.
We're glad to have so many men on the podcast,
I know.
although
It's rare.
it's getting a little more dirty
Well,
now. But
actually,
now
the
that
last call was very, very man. It couldn't have been more male glaze, even, if you will.
Wait, can I just tell you the last caller? He loved his girlfriend in every way, but she wouldn't let him come in his mouth.
In her mouth.
In her mouth.
And he was like, "What do I do? What do I?"
Wow.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's important?
It's a real conundrum. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a conundrum, if you will. How can we help you? Is it as dirty? It can't be.
It's not quite as dirty, no. So basically, situation is, I actually wrote some notes because I'm a little bit nervous, but a close girlfriend of mine has been dating this guy for a couple of years. They actually met at a birthday party of mine. And we have like a pretty close-knit circle of friends. But recently, when we've been hanging out, and particularly when we've been hanging out and he gets drunk, he's been sort of flirting with me pretty blatantly. And I mean, he's not an unattractive guy, but I have a partner of 14 years, and also I'm not a monster, so I wouldn't ever do anything. But I don't really know how to address it without making it weird within our circle of friends, you know, and like, and I don't, it's not the kind of, because I'm also close with him. You know, we actually, my boyfriend and I, when we moved back to Portland from Austin, Texas, we lived with him for a while, and, you know, and he's a good guy. It's just this weird thing. And I also kind of think it's one of those things where if it really did come down to it, he would be too chicken shit to actually follow through with anything. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I don't know how to address it in a subtle, or like in a way that's not going to make it weird, basically.
Well, I've got the perfect advice for you. There is a guy in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, who would make this whole situation go away. I mean, that guy would get what he wanted. John, yeah. I do actually have an opinion here, though.
This feels to me like you have to just put the kibosh on it, and you have to be like, no, it's not happening, and you have to just let it get weird, and you just have to put the person in order, kind of, because if not, what are you doing? Wasting time.
I have a strong thought. I think you have to do something very uncomfortable, which is to have sex with him in front of your friend and your boyfriend. No, that's not what I was going to say. Is you have to ask him if he would you have to tell him you want to meet up with him. And you have to like go out to lunch with him when he's sober. Because the problem is he's got these, whatever it is, desires or inappropriate behavior, whatever it is that comes out when he's drunk. And it's like fighting with somebody about sex while you're having sex. You don't want that to happen. You have to like change the setting, change the mindset, and just sit down at lunch one day and say, I don't even know if you're aware of this. This is so difficult, and I don't know that I could do it, to be honest. But I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is something that I've been noticing that happens, and it makes me uncomfortable for all of these reasons. I'm in a relationship. I'm friends with your girlfriend.
He's got to sit through a dinner for that to happen. That sounds really annoying.
Is he not able to just do a sidebar at one of these things?
I don't.
It'd be too weird because everyone's there.
I mean, what do you think?
Early morning coffee is way better than a dinner.
Oh, no, fine. I'm saying not doing it in the moment. Don't do it when he does it. Change the subject, change the area, make it so that you're having like an adult conversation with this guy.
Yeah.
What about a phone call? Could that work?
Yeah, I guess
I
you
like
could do
phone
that
calls.
too.
Phone calls are great because you got your notes in front of you.
Oh, yeah,
Boom.
that's true.
For context, he knows, like, for instance, this all kind of first started when we were doing karaoke in his basement, and I was doing If I Could Turn Back Time by Cher, and so I had a wig on and my ass out.
Well, that's your fault, dude. I mean, I don't know why you're walking around in a Cher wig being all seductive like that.
And so then his girlfriend went upstairs. It was just three of us this night, and then Jason straight up tried to kiss me, and I sort of just ran away. And basically I'm trying to say there has been a precedent where I'm like, I'm not giving him any signals that, like, I want this, and he's just not taking the hint. And so I do think there needs to be some kind of explicit conversation, but I'm a fairly shy person, and so I don't know. I'd think give him
a script. He needs a script for a phone call.
Yeah,
you're wanting to send an email. Is that what's going on here?
No, phone calls are better because emails are a back and forth. A phone call, it's a very uncomfortable 30, 15 minutes, but it's done.
Well, here's the good news. Fahim,
Well, yeah, I think even if you do the phone call, if you preface it with, like, this is hard for me, I'm sorry to do blah, 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 because then it comes from a place of vulnerability as well, and it's even more powerful that, like, you're powering through all this stuff to say this important thing that he needs to hear.
Yeah.
And you can always put it back to you. Like, just where I'm at right now, it's just I need to not
seduce my dear friend's partner and cheat on my own partner. It's just a weird thing where I'm at right now.
Isn't this person going to be like, I'm not doing that? So, like, how does he...
That's my thought.
Can you help him with the language so he's not like accusing the other person, so the other person isn't then all of a sudden becoming defensive?
Well, this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of when I was when we were kids, and somebody, not when you were a little kid, because when you were a little kid and you were getting bullied, there was nothing that could stop a bully. But when you got to a certain age, like college age, and people would treat you poorly, it always, when I would see that, I would always go, if that person would just say directly to the person, you got to be 18 plus for this. What you're doing makes me uncomfortable. I dislike it. I don't want it anymore. The bullying would stop. But that barrier between the discomfort of just saying directly to somebody who's, like, treating you poorly, you need to stop. It's so embarrassing for people that they will literally put up with abuse, which is, in a weird way, kind of what you're doing. You're kind of putting up with abuse. I mean, unwanted sexual advances when you're in a relationship and are a friend with the person's partner is abusive in a way.
What happens when the guy denies it, though?
Well, this is, I think...
He's like, I wasn't doing anything, or that's your problem.
That maybe it'll happen, but the thing is, I think he'll be mortified, and I think you guys are all grown-ups, and I just get the feeling that if you were to say it directly, even if it isn't an email, or I don't think a text message is good, but I would do a conversation. He'll be embarrassed. He'll probably be mortified. Hopefully, if he's a good guy, he'll be mortified. He's probably not fully. He's probably, because he's drunk. He's like, there are desires that he has that he's repressing that are coming out in this drunken state. He'll be mortified and he'll never do it again. If he does do it again, now you got amazing information. This guy fucking sucks, and you need to cut him out of your life. I mean, he probably is bordering on that anyway, because this is not.
Even if he denies it, he'll probably stop doing it.
That, exactly.
So it's like a plus either way.
But you could say something like, I don't know if this is, I don't think you should. I was just going to say, you could say something like, I don't know if this is just my perception, but he doesn't deserve that. He tried to kiss you. It's not just your perception. Yeah. It's like, that's like,
Was he drunk?
Yeah, he's drunk. Yeah.
It only happens when he's drunk. This is like when we're sober. We were just hanging out earlier today, and he's like totally fine. But,
that's another thing. I think that you might want to, like, not be hanging out with him all the time in your leisure life, and, like, especially until you, like, set this straight. I mean, you guys, you hang out in the day, and then you're gonna, like, call him and have this conversation, like.
Right. Well, the problem is that it's like there's like maybe 4 or 5 friends. Like, this, like, friend group is pretty small, and so I kind of see him. Like, it would be hard to cut him out without, like,
right. But it's not one-on-one, right? It's like 4 or 5 friends. That's nice. I wish I had 4 or 5 friends that hung out all the time. That sounds fun.
Okay. I have a thought. Because my old AA sponsor always used to say this to me when I would want to confront someone. He would always say, why do you want to confront this person? Do you want to do it in order to preserve the relationship? Or do you want to do it in order to tell the person off? And so I think that'd be a good question for you to ask yourself. Like, what do you want out of the conversation? Do you want him to.
Sounds like he likes him.
Do you want?
Yeah, I do.
So that's a great place to start from. Is your friendship is super valuable to me, and I don't want this to fuck our friendship up.
That's a good script.
But it's getting to
super
close.
valuable. That's good.
It's getting it's getting close to that point for me because I'm uncomfortable because of this stuff. I don't even know if you're aware you're doing it, but it's just making me uncomfortable. I need it to stop. And if he does, I think Fahim's right. If he denies it, he'll never do it again. If he says, okay, you're right, I don't know what I'm thinking, he'll never do it again. If he does it again, you need to blow your little 4 friendship circle up because this guy's bad news. He doesn't respect boundaries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's hard, but think about this as like a personal challenge for yourself. Like you're kind of shy and you don't want to confront him and you don't want to maybe you're a people pleaser. I don't know. Maybe you just don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, but this stuff is always good for your own growth. Mm-hmm. To challenge yourself in a positive, you're not trying to cause him harm. You're just trying to grow and be stronger and bigger as a person and a man and whatever it is, I feel it like that sometimes. I want to stick up for myself in new ways. And then I become stronger. So
right. Yeah.
That's actually why I suggested at the beginning making a date with him. Because it puts you in a corner too. If you say, hey, I'd love to get coffee, just you and me, then you know that when you get there, you have to have the conversation. You can't half step it.
I would still do a phone call.
I would do a phone call too. I think the problem with the coffee
he's going to get there all horny.
It's so ambiguous. Like you don't even know what
he
he's
thinks
thinking.
You're coming on to
Kind
him.
of. Yeah.
Finally.
He comes with no pants on. No, the opposite.
Well, I came incredibly drunk as I know you want me. You're right. Okay, fine. Phone call. Could you do that? Could you commit to yourself to do the phone call?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
and also your friend group deserves it because if you guys can't figure this out,
your girlfriend and your boyfriend deserve it.
Wait,
everybody and you. Everybody here deserves this conversation to be had.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to do it for everybody. You need to do it for the friend group.
That's right.
All right, well, good luck.
Wait, hold on. I want to know. Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, I can do it. Can you hear me? I think it kind of cut out for a second.
You commit to it?
I commit to it. I'll call you back and let you know how it goes.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, we love that.
All right, good luck.
Come see me in Portland, July 22nd, and bring the guy.
Kind of thirsty.
I've got tickets to it with 2 of the friends who are involved in this little friend circle. So
we'll make some weird eye contact with the guy, make a subtle eye thing and point. All right, we'll see you in July then.
Thank you.
Bye. Hey, Touche.
Yeah, Moosh.
I wanted to talk to you about Bruush. It's our favorite toothbrush, and it is honestly a game changer.
I mean, I am on my second Bruush. They sent me another one, but I still like my old one.
The old one works just as well. Now we've got 2.
Now I got an extra Bruush.
I mean, if you are thinking about getting an electric toothbrush, we got to tell you Bruush is the one. It cleans your teeth so well, but the coolest part is it looks dope. It looks like it belongs in your hip apartment.
Even the charger is cute, and it's got sonic technology, so they use industry-leading sonic technology to produce 42,000 brush strokes per minute, which is 300 times the brush strokes per minute of a regular toothbrush. I told you that my dentist said you have to use an electric toothbrush. I trust that guy.
I got to be honest with you. My mom recently found a competitor Bruush.
It's not good.
A competitor brush. I won't even besmirch it by calling it a. I won't even give it the honor of calling it a Bruush. My mom found this other thing and sent it to me as a gift online. I was like, I'll try it. And honestly, it's a famous brand that a lot of people get on these podcasts. Not even close.
I know.
The Bruush is so much better and looks so much more cool, and the battery lasts forever.
It's 4-week battery life, which actually maybe I don't brush my teeth for long enough because mine lasted longer. Mine lasted like 2 months.
Right. Well, you brush your teeth once. You brush your tooth once a month, right? Anyway, they have a subscription plan where they will send you a 3-pack of replacement brush heads, so you don't even have to think about it. Because sometimes I'll get those electric toothbrushes and I'll forget, and then all of a sudden it's months and months later, and I'm like, this thing is all gunky and gross. Don't worry about it. They send it straight to you, and they're just really slick looking, really cool. They clean really well. They've got a 90-day return policy too, but you're not going to use it because this thing is so dope.
Did you know, Moshe, that despite the recommendation from dental professionals to do it twice per day for 2 minutes a day, 30% of millennials admit they only do it once?
You know what?
Even skip for days at a time?
You know, I did know that actually.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's on the copy of this ad that they sent us.
Anytime I can disparage millennials with data.
Are you a millennial with yuck mouth? Get yourself a Bruush. We cannot recommend it enough. We use it, and our teeth are sparkling clean.
So listen, you can get 20% off our favorite toothbrushes when you pick up your Bruush brush kit and plan and go to Bruush.com/honeymoon. That's 20% off when you go to Bruush.com/honeymoon.
Man, I gotta say, I like these men calling in. They have these interesting. It's probably just a coincidence, but those are two really juicy calls.
Yeah, it was good. Maybe you want more men on the podcast, Moshe.
I think I do. Fahim, what do you think, bro?
I'm for it.
Hell yeah! It's time for men to finally get our break. That's what I say. Fahim, do you have any besides watching the amazing stand-up special Hat Trick on YouTube, Fahim Anwar? Really good, really funny.
Thanks, man.
You're so good. You always have been
I want to watch it if some of those bits that you did in London are on them.
No, that's from my first special that I did for CISO that nobody ever got or watched.
They were a part of the clip economy themselves, weren't they?
They may have started the clip economy. CISO.
That's right. But where else can people see you? Do you have anything coming up? Always at the Comedy Store.
Yeah, Comedy Store's my home club. I'll probably be doing some dates in the fall. I'll hit
Cool.
the road. But yeah, Hat Trick on YouTube. And then my first special, which some of those bits you saw in London, that's on YouTube now. It's called There's No Business Like Show Business. That's on Comedy Central's YouTube. So
Did you get that title from Ethel Merman?
no, like one time I got booed at the Apollo when I was like 18 years old in Seattle.
Really?
There's like 4,000 people at the Paramount Theater.
And you were performing?
Oh yeah, I was like up there for 5 seconds and I just got booed by the entire theater, you know?
Was it? It was the Apollo in Seattle.
They were doing amateur night on tour, so they were going to like
Wow.
major metropolitan
So it was
cities.
an all black
and putting it on.
audience,
Yeah,
pretty much?
yeah. So I'm like 18, getting booed by 4,000 black people, and then it's like a nightmare, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So then,
And did they start booing you? How long were you on stage?
probably lasted 5 seconds.
Did you
5
say
or-
anything, or were they just like, I don't like the looks of you?
I don't know. It could have sucked, but then also it was a little bit after 9/11. I was opening them like my opener was bad. I was just like, my name's Fahim. It's it's an Afghan name, and they're like, woo. So
Maybe you shouldn't have opened with that.
yeah, probably
it was
not.
actually disrespectful to
It
America.
was. I should
to
have
America.
waited. I should have waited by saying what I was.
Yeah. So they booed.
And so they booed. I get booed off stage, right? And then my dad, my parents are Afghan. They have never. I mean, they're turning the corner now, but they weren't into me doing comedy. That's just something you don't do, right?
You were an aerospace engineer or whatever.
Yeah. So, my dad, he hated that I would go and do open mics and stuff as a kid, and he just hated I was doing stand up, and so he enjoyed that I got booed by 4,000 people. So we're driving home. We're in the Dodge Caravan, and it's like traumatizing. No one's saying anything because they just saw.
he was there?
went?
He was there. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
He was there
Oh.
because it's a big thing. Like I got
Whoa.
accepted because they really like me. They genuinely like me. So
Who did?
the casting people.
Oh, the casting people, but the audience.
The audience did it,
genuinely
yeah. Because they made me switch my material around. I had something about hip hop, and they were like, "Oh, why don't you switch it up? Start with the Afghan stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm young. I'm like 18.
Oh my God! Do you think that they set you up to?
I don't
fail?
know. It was just bad.
They do
I learned
need
a lesson.
booze on the Apollo. That's part of their thing.
That's part of it. Yeah.
Right.
So you're driving back in the Ford,
So yeah, the Dodge Caravan.
the Dodge Caravan.
And then it's silent. No one's saying anything. You can cut the tension with a knife. And then my dad, he just has a smile on his face, and he goes, "Well, there's no business like show business."
Nightmare.
So I
It's
knew I
kind
had
of
to.
supportive. I mean, in a
No,
way.
not at all. It was like
It's also
rubbing your hands.
He's being vindicated, or
That
he's
is
being-
really funny.
he thought that I had been broken, and like finally he
Uh-huh.
can start his real life.
That's really fun. Wait,
but instead it was an origin story.
Had he seen you kill before?
No, I think that's the only time they've ever seen me do stand up. Was
That's still the only time to
Well,
bombing at Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah, for 4,000 people.
Hilarious. That is so.
4,000 people is a lot of people.
It is. It is a lot of people.
I've rarely performed for that many people.
But it might be more. But what's neat about it is that if you get off the mat after that,
Totally.
you were fucking born to do it.
Yeah.
Because that is like the atomic bomb of nightmares for every
That's
comedian.
not your first time on stage, though, right?
No, but I was probably like a few months in or a year in.
Oh, you were really new
I was
too.
pretty new, yeah.
Wow.
And you didn't think maybe don't bring your parents to this one?
No, I was pretty good early on, honestly. Like I
You
didn't-
are good.
Well, that's nice.
I'm not saying you weren't good, but to me, there's a lack of awareness to be 4 months into stand-up and go, you know where my parents should see me do stand-up for the first time? The show that is based on the audience booing, particularly booing people that are not ethnically connected to them. It's like kind of the theme of
After
the show.
9/11, on 9/12.
It's like there's no way this could go bad.
You couldn't have designed a worse game plan for me to go out there.
Okay, can I
and
ask you a
open.
question?
That
Yeah.
is funny.
Did you cry?
No, but you know what happened after it happened? It's almost like you ever see those war movies where a flashbang goes off and you just hear like a high pitch.
Sure.
I remember getting off stage and I was in the stairwell of the Paramount Theater and there was a desk there. You know how like high school desks where they have the basket
Yeah.
underneath and it's that little L shaped, and I just sat in that chair, just with this like 1,000-yard stare, trying to make sense of what happened. Like, was that real? Or because it's so surreal, you don't have any stimuli that compares with something
Right.
like that.
Right.
So I was just in that stairwell for like 20 or 30 minutes trying to make sense of what happened and like, what do you do now? And like,
And it seems like you hadn't entertained that.
oh, that was not
Outcome.
that was not an outcome that I foresaw happening. Like,
And that's just youth, naivete.
yes, there's a beauty to that. Like when you think about your first couple years of
Sure.
stand up, delusion is rocket fuel.
Yeah, totally.
You need that. Even though you're not anything yet, you need that to
For
think you
acting
could-
too. For
any form of the arts.
Yeah.
Any big celebrity that you know, no one wanted it to happen. That's what you have to realize.
You know who doesn't need delusion to really thrive as an artist, right?
What?
The AI algorithm,
That's true.
right? All they need is data.
A lot of data.
A lot.
Wait,
of
hold
data.
on. If the AI algorithm gets your jokes and can write jokes better than you, how do they perform it?
The ultimate.
What do they look like?
The ultimate scene in your movie, in the Fahim Anwar story biopic, is you do that. You bomb in front of your parents, and then you're like an 80-year-old legend, and you go out. You go out to the showtime at the Apollo 2750 in the year 2750, and there's just a computer monitor, and it's like, so I am Afghan, and the crowd's like, ha ha ha, yay, we love this.
2750. You
I
think it would
don't
take
know, no.
700 years for that to happen? Maybe more like 7.
No,
All right,
you know
all
the
right.
cool version of that movie? I'm like 80 years old or whatever. I do the same stage, 6,000, 4,000 people. I crush. Standing ovation. I go into the stairwell. The desk is still there. I sit down. I light up a cigarette. And I just think about my life and the credits roll.
You die.
I die right then and there.
Yeah, you have a heart attack and die.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, Fahim, you're the funniest. I'm glad that
Thanks
you
for
did not.
sharing that story
I'm
with
glad
us.
you didn't submit. It's so funny. I have an origin. I won't bore I think I've told it on the podcast before, but I also have an origin story of my stand-up that is connected to doing a black room. It was at the Laugh-A-Palooza festival. Have I told this story before?
I don't know, honey.
Well, shall I?
Yeah,
All right.
do it.
The biggest thing that ever happened to me in my career at that point was I got asked to do New Faces at Laugh-A-Palooza, the urban comedy festival. I still remember being at my day job, and when I got the call, the guy's like, Moshe Kasher, this is John Johnson from the Laugh-A-Palooza Festival. You've been selected. And I was like leaping in the elevator, and then they were like, all you got to do is buy your own plane ticket. Get your own hotel room. And I was none of these were red flags for me. So I fly out to Atlanta on my own dime. There's a lot of funny stuff that happened, but the shows they hadn't promoted the show. There were no audiences in the shows. And so night after night after night, it was awful. Nobody could have done well.
Right.
But it was awful. But there were luckily executives that they'd convinced to come from Comedy Central and Just for Laughs so that they could come see you bomb and form lasting opinions about how funny you were for years to come. And in fact, I thought to myself, I used to say that, and I thought, oh no, that's not true. They didn't really form lasting opinions about me. And then I actually asked one of the executives from Comedy Central, I was like, by the way, do you remember me from Laugh-A-Palooza? This is after they finally started letting me work on Comedy Central. And she's like, oh yeah, I remember. I go, did you see that and kind of form a lasting opinion? She's like, oh yeah, I thought you were terrible for years. It was really, it was true. So terrible. And they had these big shows the other funny thing was they had these big shows that were like a con job. It would be like Cedric the Entertainer. I remember Cedric the Entertainer was the person, and they would sell tickets to the Cedric the Entertainer show. And these people would buy tickets to see Cedric the Entertainer. Cedric would come out, do a 5-minute set, and be like, okay, we're going to start our TV taping, introducing you to all of these people you've never heard of. And so people were like upset. The whole thing was a funny mess.
Yeah.
But I did awful. And there was a best of New Faces show happening after the main show on Saturday night. And I was like, I went up to the guy, John Johnson, and I go, I got to be on that show, man. And he looked at me and he was just like, all right, I got you. It was like, okay. I didn't used to do stuff like that. I didn't used to like stand up for myself in that way. I always had some form of imposter syndrome or whatever, but I did it. It was at the Punchline in Atlanta. And I went to the Punchline in Atlanta. It was after the show. So it was like, the show was at 8. So the late show started at like 11:30. And I go up to the booker there and I'm like, I'm on the show. And she's like, I don't have your name on this list. And I'm like, I'm on the show, which again, it's not my style. I go, have I told this story before? Oh, well, why didn't you stop me?
Come on, I haven't heard it. Come on,
All right,
you're on a roll. Come on.
I go, I am on the show, and she goes, okay. I like looked at her with all the power I had. I go, I'm on the show tonight, and she's like, okay, I'll put you on last. So they do the show. Hours and hours are going by. It's 1:45 in the morning when I get up. I go, my opening question was like, you guys tired? As an audience, they chant back, yes. And then I just bomb. I bombed so hard that I had a VHS tape in my pocket to give to the booker at the Punchline to try to come back and get some work. And I calculated that it wasn't worth the cost of a VHS tape to bother handing this woman the VHS tape. I was like, I'm just going home. I'm like, that feeling, that like poison feeling when you just like had the worst experience of your life. I'm like, I fly home. I'm like, just like in such pain. And that night was the Sunday night at the Punchline San Francisco, strangely enough, the same kind of club, the same name club. And the rule in that club, it was Halloween weekend. The rule on Halloween weekend at the Sunday night Punchline shows was you had to be in costume in order to perform. And I'm sitting in my apartment staring at this like skin tight Lycra astronaut costume that I had bought for this, staring at it thinking I should just quit. I should get out of this business. This is stupid. I have better things to do with my life. I'm like, am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? And I just go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. And I like the dignity and indignity of pulling on like this Lycra astronaut suit and getting in my Geo Metro to drive across the Bay Bridge to like go up. And I got up because I was in costume, and I swear to God, it was the best. It was one of the best sets I've ever had in my life. It wasn't just one of the best sets I've ever had in my life. It was literally a transformative set where I became a different performer that night from the performer I was before I like transitioned into like the performer that I am now. So without that humiliation, I don't know that I would have even had that kind of breakthrough.
Wow.
I have a similar story, but I won't tell you.
No, come on, tell us.
It's okay, honey.
Why? We want to know.
I mean, I'm just saying it's
The
part of
people wanna
the
know. Tell the story.
non-algorithm artist
Totally.
path.
A computer can't suffer. Maybe that is it. Maybe that's why a computer will never make great
But
art.
what if once it
Exactly.
can, then we're fucked? Once the algorithm can suffer?
Right. Maybe if it does become sentient, it can suffer. Why don't you tell us your story?
Yeah.
I'm a little too upset about the idea of things happening exponentially, like so fast during this segment of AI and like sentientness that I am sort of like breathless. And
You're unable to tell a
I'm
story?
unable to tell the story.
All right. Well, tune in next week. Maybe
I'm
Natasha
just saying,
will.
this guy just said, if he's saying now that the robot's sentient, let's say he's crazy, but let's say that it's sentient in like 2 years. As soon as it becomes sentient, it happens like exponentially, like faster and fast, like so fast, it's like a blip.
Here's what I'm saying. Global warming is happening. So I'm not going to get upset about a theoretical fear when there's one that's right here.
Don't do it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, don't do it. Your life will be better.
Listen, I think the solution to all of this is for us to just swallow cum and accept the future.
Let's just swallow the cum.
Fahim?
Yeah. Ditto.
Hat Trick on YouTube. Check it out right now and see Fahim if you can. He's one of the best. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us, man.
guys. Take it
Thanks,
easy.
Fahim.